This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry. Question for you. Do you talk to yourself in a way that you would never talk to someone that you love? Well, it's time for Mental Health Matters with Viking Psychiatry. And joining me today is Sean Goddard, their owner. Hello, Sean.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about criticism that we have on ourselves and that inner voice that can be so harsh. First off, where does that voice even come from?
You know, that voice is ingrained from the very beginning, right? As we grow up, it might be from a parent, a teacher, right? Often it's somebody in an authoritative type position, but it tells us that we need to behave, we need to be better, right? You're bad, you need to be good, right? And so very early on, sometimes there's traumas that are involved. We are ingrained to respond and to expect to respond a certain way and to be overly critical of ourselves. That voice initially starts off as a protective measure, right? And, you know, you're about to do something bad and that voice tells you, no, I can't do that. I get in trouble, right? I need to be good. But then as that voice grows with you and strengthens and more things happen, then that voice no longer is a defensive mechanism, right? It's more of a internal criticism that just tells you, no, you're not good enough. You're never good enough. You're not good. You won't succeed. You've failed so many times, right? And then that critic becomes too loud.
Okay, I see. So sometimes what you're saying is it starts off helpful in some cases, and then it can kind of get distorted.
Correct.
And making that crossover. So is there something that happens, some inflection point that crossover happens to where something that could be a gut instinct or wait, be mindful of this or that, now is like, you're horrible?
Yeah, I really think it's a compounding of a multitude of things, right? Like you can have these voices that are, you know, these people as you're growing up that are telling you certain things, and it's not a distortion for your parent to tell you you need to behave, right? You need to be good. The distortion often occurs as that voice is repetitive and often with negative condensation behind it. So, you know, in our society, we tend to, if you look at it, we focus on the negatives. We don't give time to the positive. And we often see as we're growing that negativity is often compounded. It's not the positive. It's not, good job, you succeeded, thank you, you were good. It's you were bad, you failed this, why did you get a C? You should have gotten an A, right? You're stupid, you're a failure. And so as those events occur and continue to compound, then it becomes distorted to often being a permanent, sometimes like a black hole, right? Because now it's not, sometimes I fail and sometimes I didn't do as good as I thought, but instead it becomes, I am a failure. I always fail. I'll never be good enough. I will never succeed. And that's when that critic really becomes the most harmful. Wow.
So I see you're saying it evolves and it can be kind of that permanent, always type of verbiage on there, so it's harder to recover. So what are some practical ways that you can share that can kind of help people if they are experiencing those negative thoughts?
Yeah, one of the things I like is called a 3-column approach. And by 3 columns, I mean you take a piece of paper and you can draw 2 lines in it, right? And you create 3 columns and you take those thoughts, right? One of those distortions, and maybe the distortion is I'll always fail, right? And then in that second column, you look at that and you go, this is where you do black and white thinking, right? And you say, okay, this is black and white thinking. This is I believe that I will always fail. This is what the voice is telling me. And in that third column, that's where you're placing realism and saying, the truth is sometimes I do fail, right? The truth is sometimes I'm not as successful as I want to be. But the truth is there's often many times where I have succeeded, right? And I have been successful. If you look at me and owning a business, right? I always want to do the right thing, right? And I always want to be successful and take care of my employees and make sure my patients are cared to the best of my ability and everything runs smoothly. That's what we want, right?
Yeah.
But that's also not realistic. There will never be 100% perfection when it comes to something. Failures are going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
The gain is in having the failure occur, recovering from that failure, recognizing, okay, why did I not succeed this time? What happened? And many times it's that critic that causes us to fail, right? That lack of belief or self-belief. And so when we allow ourselves to look at that and say, okay, I did fail. Why did I fail? How do I need to adjust next time? And the faster we cover and we start to do the 3-column thinking and recognizing that that voice isn't right anymore, it's not our best friend anymore, then the sooner we begin to see greater returns in the future.
Yeah, and I'm sure people are thinking, wow, like I have that voice, or, you know, maybe I'm talking to myself like that. So Sean, what is a message that you can share today that can kind of replace that critical thinking that people may have, like something that they can say instead?
I think about a movie that I watched a long time ago, and I won't say it, but one of the lines in there is, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. And it's a funny saying, right? It's a funny movie, but it's a positive affirmation. And that's really what it's about, is understanding positive affirmation. And so I want everyone to hear this, right? That you are not defined by your failures. You are not defined by your bad moments. You are not defined by what somebody told you growing up or how somebody defined you growing up, right? Life is learning, right? Life is moving forward, and you have to understand that you are enough. You are exponentially beautiful just the way you are. And that's what you need to see inside and understand that it's okay to have bad days. It's okay to have failures. It's okay to not meet somebody's expectations. That's their expectation, right? Your goal, your job in life is to live, right? And we have to spend more time living and less time judging and criticizing ourselves and weighing ourselves down, because then we'll never meet our own expectations.
Right, exactly. We'll never rise to our greatest potential.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you.
Good talking with you. And as you just heard, listen, mental health matters, you matter. And so as you continue just to grow, just know that you are not alone, and Viking Psychiatry is here to help. So if you would like more information about their services, you can actually go to the website that is listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry.